Welcome to Reggie's Discussions, where it's no filler, no fluff, but we keeps it a buck. And today we're going to discuss if Caitlin Clark can save the WNBA. And I have my brother Stan back with me. How's it going, brother?
Come on, man. How you doing?
Maintaining, man, maintaining. So I'm just going to dive right in. Um, so for me, I'm gonna start the conversation and say that I called it "Save the WNBA" just because I feel like that's what the narrative is right now. Is if she can save the WNBA. I don't necessarily think the WNBA needs to be saved per se because saved implies that something is dying or something is on the verge of bankruptcy. And I mean the WNBA, while it's not fully in the mainstream, it has been on a bit of an uptick as of late. Last year, the WNBA Finals got their highest TV viewership in 20 years. I think it maxed out about 728,000 views. Attendance has been up 16%, and their total audience has been up for the highest that they've had in 13 years. So the idea that it needs to be saved per se, I don't think is correct. But do I think that this young lady can elevate the game to heights that we've never seen? I absolutely believe so. I think there's no doubt that she can do that. I think that we've already seen it. We've already seen how the Indiana Fever's season tickets are going crazy right now. They're buying these tickets up.
Yeah.
She's on like 23 national televised games. Like you already see it. Like she's already
Yeah.
making an impact, and she hasn't even dribbled a ball yet in the WNBA. So yes, I believe she can elevate the game to heights we've never seen it. Your thoughts?
I agree. But I think that, again, saving the WNBA, but it's like you said, insinuates the league is dying. The league's not dying. The league doesn't need to be saved by it. And I think that the veteran players of the WNBA, the stars that are already there, are in their own way kind of expressing their annoyance with this Caden Clark thing. Donna Taurasi had some not so subtle shots at her during the national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some other players that have made some comments, but they're all using it to sell tickets. Like Phoenix used it, and they were promoting part of the season ticket package, seeing the GOAT versus the rookie.
Right.
And this is before Caitlin Clark was even officially drafted.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing, and again, I know what they're doing, and it's fine. I think the Caitlin. Let me just get out this out the way. I have no problems with her. I think she's a phenomenal talent. I think she's one of the best women's players that I've seen in this generation.
Yep. I agree.
My annoy my annoyance is not with Kaylin Clark. My annoyance is with the coverage of Kaylin Clark. And my annoyance is with these people who are now fans of women's basketball who are now coming in and making comments and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's my problem. And that's been on display all week, with this stuff, with the salary things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we've been talking about the WNBA salary problems for several years now. It's been a talking
Yes,
point for players for several years.
it has.
It's not a new thing. But
Nope.
all of a sudden now, Caitlin Clark is coming to the league and making 76 grand is now a talking point. And it's like, where were you people been for the last 3 or 4 years and we've been talking about this? The salaries for the WNBA players in comparison to the NBA players, it's not. First of all, don't compare them to NBA players because the NBA has a much better TV deal where the players get a larger percentage of the basketball related income.
Yep.
What the WNBA players have been saying is we don't want to be paid like NBA players. We don't think we should be paid 40, 50 million a year like LeBron is or like whoever is. It's a matter of we want more of the basketball income as it relates to what the league is generating. They want a fair share of the pie. That's what they're talking about. And if people have a problem with that, then it's a very simple solution. Go support the league.
Yeah.
Go get the league pass. Go buy tickets. Go buy jerseys. Go buy merch. Support the league. You
I,
know,
I agree. I agree with you that it's become more of a talking point. But I think it's always been a thing. Like we've always talked about the salary stuff. I think the reason why it's a bigger talking point now is because she's a bigger star. Like we have not seen a women's basketball player with this kind of hype in a very long time, if not ever. I'm not saying that there has not been more talented players, even though it may not have been. So I'm not necessarily saying that. But what I am saying is I can't think of another women's basketball player that came out with this level of hype. The level of hype that she has is out of this world. Like I've never seen anything like it, man. Like I've seen something. No,
it's
I love women's basketball, college women's basketball, and pros women's basketball. So I didn't see a whole lot of women's basketball players that I was impressed with. I was like, yo, she is going to be a star. But that's kind of how I felt. I've never seen this kind of stardom ever. To be honest with you, I've never seen this kind of stardom ever. So I think this situation feels
yeah.
different.
The women's game in general right now feels like it's not a movement. It feels
Yeah.
like it's trending in the right direction. It's not just a temporary thing because again, this has been going on for a couple of years now, and it's been going on for a couple of years now. Yeah, we're gonna have a guest appearance here, sometimes because she's been a pain in the ass today, but it is what it is. Um, it's been a movement for the women's game, and it's a good thing to see. And so now people are now commenting on it that again don't have any business commenting on it, which is a
Correct.
recurring problem in our society now, where people feel a need to comment on things they don't know what they're talking about because it's a thing to comment on. And it's not just Caitlin Clark, and that's what again she's been the leader of this. Obviously, she's doing amazing things at Iowa. Didn't win a national championship, but she did amazing things there.
Yeah, two straight championship games though. That's impressive.
And that's impressive, but you didn't
Yeah.
win. That they don't give trophies to the runner-ups.
I
Unfortunately,
know.
that's not
I
how it
know.
works.
Well, I mean, I know we're not doing the you got to win a championship to be great kind of thing. Hope we're not doing
No, no,
that.
no. We're not doing that. We're not
Okay.
doing
All
that
right.
corny
All
stuff.
right. All right.
We're
All
not
right.
doing that. But what I
All
will
right.
say is that
Yeah.
again, my annoyance is with the coverage, not
Mm-hmm.
her and her talents. Her talents are amazing. Like I already heard that the Mystics are moving their game with the Fever to the Capital back to the Capital One Arena.
That's crazy. That's the impact I'm talking about, man. Like they
So
they can't, they don't have enough seats. Like people want to
no,
watch this woman play, man.
it is a fun it's fantastic, and like I said, I hope that it would carry over into the WNBA,
Yeah.
and I think it will. And WNBA has an opportunity now over the next few years to really grow the league in a way that it needs to have been grown, because now they've got this rookie class that's loaded with talent,
Mm-hmm.
and not
Yeah.
just talented players, but marketable players.
Yes. Yes.
Um, People with followings. So it is a movement for the women's game that's been decades in the making. But we've also had times where the WNBA was expected to take the next step and it didn't. But that's been a problem of women's sports in general, where there's been the moment for it to take the next step and it really doesn't. Soccer has been a perfect example of that. How many times has been the women's soccer team in this country gained so much notoriety, not just for what they do on the field, but off the field?
Right.
But they've gained so much, but that doesn't translate into pro leagues.
Right. It doesn't.
And soccer and basketball are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
People in this country care about soccer at certain points.
Right.
Basketball is one of the most popular sports in the world, not just the country. Soccer is very popular worldwide, but here in America, it's hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a good moment for women's basketball, and Caitlin Clark, like I said, a fantastic ball player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think there's a lot of narratives being created around her, that many of which have nothing to do with basketball, of course,
Right.
and that's not her fault. that's just what the media is doing. And if you want to get into all that stuff, you can. But it's just I'm excited. Like I said, I'm probably gonna do the league pass for the first time. And again,
Yeah,
everybody should. It's only $37. Go ahead and
yeah,
drop it
yeah,
down
yeah.
and invest in the league pass and support the league. Because again, if you want the salaries to go up, we have to support the league. The league needs to be supported. Because the
Right,
more that there's revenue generated, ratings go up, attendance goes up. When the league goes back to renegotiate the next TV media rights deal without the NBA,
right.
they should get a much better deal. They should have a much better deal, and the players should get a much bigger chunk of that, which means the salaries will go up. That's what's happened in the NBA over the last 20 years. As the NBA's media rights deals have gone up, gone up, gone up, gone up, and a lot of that's been because of the demand of live entertainment from the networks and the cable networks and streaming networks. The player salaries have gone up because the income has gone up. The NBA generated over $10 million, $10 billion last year, and because of that, the players' salaries are going to go up. Just like when the next media rights deal for the NBA hits up, the salaries are going to jump up, and it's going to be some
Right.
frightening contracts that we're going to have to be looking
Oh
at.
yeah.
Guys
Oh
making
yeah.
60, $70 million a year that probably shouldn't be making anywhere near that. And that's
Yeah, but that,
another topic that we can
yeah,
get into another time.
but I think that's the great thing about it because when you have this level of star, you can demand more for a TV contract when you have this level of star because like basketball, while it's a team sport, as long as it's been a successful sport, it's been marketed on individuals. It just always has. Why do you say Bird and Magic? You got Jordan. Like it's been marketed on individuals. And so so like it's been marketed on individuals. So I think that it's individuals and it's storylines. And so going into this upcoming WNBA season, we already have not only do we have a star, well, hopefully a star. She hasn't dribbled a ball in WNBA yet, so we don't know. But we
Yeah.
have a possible star, and we have storylines because when Indiana plays Phoenix, that game is going to be hyped up. When Indiana plays Chicago, that game is going to be hyped up. People are going to want to
They will.
watch it,
Mm-hmm.
and now am I saying they're going to draw what they draw 12 mil for the LSU game, something like that? Like,
Yeah, it was more than
yeah,
that. It was more than that.
yeah,
Big number they
LSU,
drew.
yeah, yeah,
The national championship game outdrew the men's national championship game.
yeah. The national championship was 18.9 million. Like that's
Yeah,
insane, you know.
it's insane. Dude.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like when you now again, I'm not saying they're gonna do those numbers because that's a combination of a star, a storyline, and the stakes, right? So the stakes of a random WNBA game in the middle of the season doesn't have the stakes of a Final Four game or Elite Eight game. So it's not
Correct.
gonna get that
Correct.
kind of rating.
Yeah,
But
correct.
if these games happen and people care. I'm actually wondering what was the rating for the WNBA draft that just passed because I saw
About
people on
two and
my
a half million.
timeline. How much?
I think it was over 2.5 million.
2.5 million people watched the
It
draft.
was the highest. It was the highest rated draft I think since Tarazi came out.
Right, it's
And
brewing, man.
and
It's brewing.
yeah,
I'm telling you.
that's crazy. The WNBA draft drew over 2.5 million, and and it was more. I think it was a little bit more than that. It was phenomenal. It was like I said, the highest rate they've done since Tarazi's. I think the
Yeah,
Tarazi draft.
yeah,
And there's a lot of momentum there for the league. I think there's a lot, and I think the league has to be salivating at the idea of capitalizing it. But I don't know. But it's going to be time will tell if they can because they've had times before and they were not able to capitalize on the popularity because they don't market the game very well.
yeah.
And that's more of a league higher up problem because
Hmm.
that's been a problem with the league the last few years now is how do we take the league to the next level because we have star power. The league has star power now.
Yeah, it does.
He was star power there before Caitlin Clark got there. It was star
Yeah,
power all throughout the league with the Aces and Aja Wilson and
yeah,
Kelsey Plum,
yeah.
and Liberty with their big three. And it's been there's star power in the league and has been for several years, and now it's just a matter of can they take it to the next level with this new rookie class and the players that'll be coming down the road.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. I think they got something here going, and then, I understand that there is people who kind of feel like, she's been over the top marketed, and I get that. But like when you got a lightning rod, man, you gotta go with it. Like she captivated the country with her play. I mean, people were excited to watch her play. Like the height. The thing about the height of the Iowa LSU game was like a year in the making. After what happened in the game the year before that, people could not wait to see that rematch. If you remember, I was texting you saying like, "Yo, I don't know whose palms you got to grease, but you got to make that a regular season game because there was no guarantee, you get that in
Yeah,
the tournament." Then we ended up getting it. It was incredible. Like the hype for that
yeah.
game was nuts. So
It was. It was an incredible. It was an event. And again, we don't get too
it
many
was.
events in terms of sports now because there's so many games. But that was an event. That was an event game. Unfortunately, I had to work when it was happening, but
Yeah.
it's an event game,
Yeah.
and it was huge, and they did big numbers on it. But like I said, the Caitlin Clark discussion
Hmm.
is a broad discussion. It's not just
Right.
about her. Unfortunately, it's not just about her play. It's about
Hmm.
other factors and people pushing a narrative and people wanting to push certain things that it's just the way it is, and it's not her fault. Like the latest thing that's been going on in social media has been her shoe deal. She's
Hmm.
getting a signature shoe through Nike, which again should
Hmm.
not surprise anybody.
Right. Right.
And then but the discussion topics was, well, wait a minute, why doesn't Angel Wilson have a signature shoe?
I mean,
And nobody's going to be able to can give you a legitimate answer. And some
I
of the
can
things
give
that I
I can
saw,
give I can give you an answer. I can
some of
give you
the
an answer.
answers that I saw were actually it was just stupid. Like somebody said, well, she's a center. Centers don't sell. I was like, okay, so she's a center. So centers don't sell, aren't marketable, right? Who is the most marketable athlete we've had in the last 20 plus years? One of the most marketable, not the, but one of the most marketable athletes in the last 25 years. Shaquille O'Neal,
Yeah.
who's 7 feet, whatever. Shaq is still marketable. Shaq's still doing commercials. He hasn't played basketball in over a decade. If you're gonna
Yeah.
say that age is not, if you're gonna say age is not charismatic, that's not true. She's one of the most charismatic players in the league. She's hilarious
Oh no, I'm not gonna say
if
she's
you
not
follow.
charismatic. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of her. I'm not
She's
saying she's not
she's
charismatic.
she's tremendously charismatic. She's a best-selling author. She's an accomplished college and pro player. She actually won a national championship.
Hmm.
Won multiple ones. She has a fucking statue at South Carolina. A
Hmm.
statue.
Yeah.
They built a statue for her in South Carolina.
Yeah. She was great.
She's a back-to-back WNBA champion, multiple-time MVP.
Finals
She
MVP.
fits Finals MVP.
Hmm.
Her credentials, and she's wildly popular. She's got a
Hmm.
huge following. So it's not to say that and again, signature shoe lines, just so we're clear, it's not something that every player in the NBA has. So this
Hmm.
is not a male. I mean, obviously, there's only 3 women currently in the WNBA that have signature shoe lines. Stewie, now Caitlin Clark, and Sabrina Agasco. They
Taraji
have
don't have it.
signature. No,
Hmm.
Taraji doesn't have one. Angel Wilson doesn't have one. Again, the NBA. If you look at the NBA and how many players don't have signature lines, there's quite a few. So it's not like everybody gets them anyway. Because again, if you have to have one that people are going to buy.
But let me ask you this question though, Stan. Let me ask you this question. If you ask most people right now, you put both of their pictures up and say who is this and who is this. Put Asia Wilson on one side, Caitlin Clark on the other. Who people gonna recognize?
Well, again, it depends on who you're asking. And
I'm
if you're
saying if you
asking,
ask a broad, I'm saying if you ask a broad audience,
well, yeah, Caitlin Clark is a more recognizable
yeah, she's a
star right
star,
now,
bro. Like she's a
and
absolute megastar.
she is. And again, and then that raises the questions as to why her in particular. And again, her talent is not debatable. Her talent is immeasurable. Her playmaking skills, her shooting are top notch. It's not just her shooting. Her shooting, when she gets to the WNBA, they're gonna stop that shit. They're not gonna let her just shoot the ball from 30 feet. That's not going to happen. But her playmaking skills is going to carry her a lot. Her ability to pass, see the court, her court vision, she can rebound. That's going to help her. And that's part of her games that needs to be amplified more. Yes, she takes the 30-foot 3 pointers like Steph Curry and all that, and that's exciting to people, and it is exciting.
But that's it
She's
right
a
there, though. That is it right there. What has happened, and this will lead to a broader conversation. I know we don't have enough time, but like what has happened is Steph Curry. When you talk about how he's changed the game completely because the long ball, the 3 point shot, is now the thing that people tune in to watch. The 3 point shootout was more popular in the slam dunk contest, and people want to see shooting. The big thing that people had against women's sports was that, they can't dunk, they can't, finish high at the rim. There's no, high flying stuff. Well, guess what? Now, I'm not saying people still don't like that stuff. That ain't the star no more. The star is shooting. And when she's firing up these 40-foot 3 pointers, people like it. It's exciting to watch, man.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
definitely is. And again, it's not just an above the rim type of game. And
Yeah.
look, we had a lot. There were a lot of embarrassing conversations about lowering the rim
Right.
in the women's game, and I feel ashamed of even part of those conversations because they're absolutely embarrassing. And it's insulting to women to have those conversations. But
At the time, it wasn't
they
insulting
were
because
being
at the
had. They
time,
were being had.
at the time, like people were more into the high flying game. So I
No,
don't think
no.
people were being jerks. They were trying to say, what can we do to make it more exciting? What if we can do something where we can have them dunk? That's what it was. It wasn't like they were talking down to them. It was just like, what can we do? But I'm just saying, like now the 3 point shot is a star.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a star, and again, that's helped the league. And if you watch the WNBA, it's very much taking on the NBA style of
Mm-hmm.
spread the floor, run and gun type shooting. It's definitely been that. That's definitely taken form if you watch the WNBA. The scoring in the WNBA is going up as well. But like I said, it's a lot that's around Caitlin, and I think she has a lot of hype, and she's bringing a lot of new eyeballs to the game, which is a good and a bad thing because again, you're bringing eyeballs that have no idea what they're talking about
It's
and
not a bad
are
thing. Eyeballs is never a bad thing. I disagree with that.
eyeballs is not a bad thing, but the problem is that unfortunately with social media, everybody has an opinion,
Yeah.
and everybody shouldn't have an opinion, but everyone has one because of social media, and people have been saying, and like I said, some of the things that have been said on social media around Caitlin Clark have been absolutely embarrassing, but a lot of it
On
has a
on
racial
both
racial
sides.
ting, on both sides, and a
Yeah.
lot of it has a racial ting to it, which
It
again
does.
it's very reminiscent of Magic and Bird,
And that was
and
yeah.
but the thing about that was Magic and Bird catapulted the NBA from take delay finals to kind of where we are now, the league. So
Exactly.
the reality is that the racial angle towards it is the hot sauce of anything in America nowadays. It has been
Mm-hmm.
for again going back to Magic and Bird. It's like having a platter of fried chicken. You know what I mean? And it's delicious on its own, but you add that hot sauce to it. You setting it off, and that's
That's
what.
right.
And a lot of that is what played into this stuff with Kaylin Clark and Angel Reese.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Angel Reese is a straight up dog. She's a dog. She goes out, she plays, she's very unapologetically her. She's from Baltimore, so she's a real we're from Baltimore. We live our life with a chip on our shoulders. We're underdogs by nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure she also is going to take her career to the next level as the WNBA. And also, she's going to play with a chip on her shoulder because she was the seventh pick, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And all these people that went ahead of her, like DC had a chance to draft her, didn't draft her.
Yeah.
And I know that some people will say, well, it's about need and fit and all that stuff. Again, If you're
I
DC and you got somebody that's 40 miles up the road that could help you sell tickets, why wouldn't you draft him?
Nah, you take the best player available. They felt like it was a better player ahead. You take the best player. I don't think you do that.
I think with Angel, the issue was going to be her scoring and can she score at a pro level? Because
Yeah,
again, it's all about shooting.
yeah,
So that's why you're seeing videos of Angel in the lab shooting threes.
right. We'll see if she can put it together.
She's gonna be able to rebound and defend at the pro level, but it's gonna be about scoring. But like I said, it's gonna be exciting. I can't wait. You know, Caitlin Clark is like I said, a generational talent. One we haven't seen in a women's game come along in a long time. But people calling her the goat need to shut the hell up.
Yeah,
Let's stop with that. Stop with that goat shit because again, you can't be the goat at shit if you've only been doing it for 3 or 4 years at a high level. And that's not to
they
dismiss
were
her
they were
talent,
saying
not
they were
dismiss,
saying they were saying to go to college though.
and she's not that either, and she ain't that either.
Yeah,
And I was personally offended at people who said that
yeah.
because you're disrespecting all these great players that accomplished a lot more than she did. Yes, Caitlin Clark set the all-time scoring record in the age of three-point shooting. Congratulations. But let's not disrespect the accomplishments of Maya Moore, Breonna Stewart, Candace Parker, Cheryl Swoops, Cheryl Miller. The names go on and on in terms of what those women did for the college game, and they actually won national championships.
you
Breonna
keep
Stewart won
you
4 national championships in
at
four player
UConn.
years and four
At
MVP teams.
UConn.
At UConn, okay, great, but she was the
At
best
UConn.
player on the best
And look, I
team.
love Breon. I love her. That's like my favorite women's player. Breon Stewart is great, but like, yo, she won them joints at UConn. Like, Caitlin Clark took Iowa to 2 national championship games. Like Iowa,
Impressive, yes. And they could
yeah.
have won, but they didn't win. And I'm not trying to do the championships and ring culture stuff. I
It
know
sounds like
that's
it.
annoying.
It
No,
sounds
no,
like
no.
it.
What I'm saying is that if you're going to call yourself if you want to be considered the greatest player, the college women's player of all time, you have to have at least one national championship. I think, not just one, just at least one. And again, I'm not taking away her accomplishments, her scoring record, awesome. But if you want to call you, if you're going to have people calling her the greatest women's player of all time, come on,
Yeah,
that was
I'm not.
that
Yeah,
was that was insulting to me. That
yeah,
was
I'm not. I'm
insulting to
not
me.
saying that. I'm not saying she's the goat. Like I always think when it comes like the goat conversation, a lot of times I don't feel qualified because I don't feel like I'm old enough to have the conversation because I didn't see Cheryl Miller play. Like that was before my
Well,
time.
it's a dumbass conversation that has gotten
Yeah.
overdone in all aspects of sports media, which we've already talked about. But
Hmm.
yeah, Caitlin, like I said, she's gonna have the bullseye on her back for most of the season because again, you got a
Absolutely.
lot of veterans in the WNBA that pissed off at all this coverage and this notion that she's coming to save their league. And like, well, wait a minute, you think people like Kelsey Plum and Asia Wilson who've won back-to-back national championships and that squad in Vegas, and you think Tarazi, and you think some of these women who have been busting their ass to build this league up are going to take kindly to this rookie coming in and getting all these accolades and getting all this praise and being pumped up by the media as the next big thing, the savior. They're not going to take kindly to that, and there's going to be a target on their back, and it's going to make for great. I think it will make for great television,
I
great
agree.
theater and sports, but they are not going to take kindly to that, and you can see that by some of the things that have been said by some of the players. They're not taking, but of course that's people say, oh, they're hating. No, they're not hating. It's not hating at all.
Nah, it's not
You
hating.
can no, it's not hating at all. You think Asia Wilson has anything to be jealous of Caitlin Clark over? Please, she's not hating on that girl. It's just a matter of I'm a star. I'm an MVP. I'm a national champion. I'm a world champion. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I have a statue, and y'all pumping this girl up, and she hasn't won any championships. So let's pump the brakes on this stuff, and let's see what she does in the pro level. I think
Well,
she's going to do great at the pro level.
I tell you this here. There's a star coming, and I think that the elevation of the WNBA is going to be very much on her shoulders. She has a lot of pressure coming into the WNBA, just like she had a lot of pressure in college. Like the amount of pressure that was on her shoulders on every game was crazy. And the fact of the matter is, she delivered. Like
Yes, she did.
the hype in that LSU game was insane, and she went in there and
She
delivered.
delivered.
You,
She
you've
she put
had
on a
you
show
had
that game.
you had Angel Reese. Well, I love Angel Reese, but Angel Reese before the game, I know she apparently had put like her little crown on the bench. So Caitlin Clark is warming up, and she's looking over and see a crown just sitting on the bench. She's like, okay. And Caitlin Clark, she's very media savvy. She says the right things, but I don't believe her when she says, "Oh, I don't have nothing against them. I'm just playing ball." I don't believe it. I think she looked over and saw that crown. She's like, "Ooh, I got something for y'all. I'm putting 40 up tonight. Y'all about to get it." I think she did that, and I
Well,
love it. This is
keep
what the
in
sport
mind.
is all about. I love basketball. I love storylines. We are on our way. I'll give you the last word.
Oh, of course. Well, like I said, she's a shit talker. She was. I mean, Caitlin's a shit talker. Yeah, she's very media savvy now because she's learning to be because of all of the attention she's been getting. But she's a shit talker. The best basketball players, they're shit talkers, and that's great. And she was doing a lot of that shit talking last year, and she's been, like I said, she's been more reserved because of the media coverage and all that stuff. Because that's just what you do, and it's smart to do that. But she's a shit talker at heart, and she's gonna have to learn. She's gonna learn. Like I said, she's not gonna have it easy in the WNBA because there's a league full of veterans that don't take kindly, who haven't taken kindly to all the media kissing her ass, and it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate you coming through. We'll leave it there. Take care, man.
All right, bro.